This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas. The views and opinions of the hosts are own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Good morning and welcome back to Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. You are tuned into Guardian Radio AM. I am Aaron Green sitting in for Mr. Newry today. Today is Friday the 13th of December 2024. I'm going to begin by repeating my opening from the earlier show. Let's take Friday the 13th and turn it around. Let's take it and turn it around. Let's take the superstition away from it, right? Let's take the scary thoughts away from it and the fear away from it. Let's make Friday the 13th National Caution Day, right? We take it as an opportunity to practice spatial awareness, mindfulness, empathy. Initially, we were talking in the realm of safety, right? Like being cautious when you're moving throughout the streets, your community, during the holiday season when crime tends to ramp up because everybody wants things, but not everybody can afford things, right? But it's also an opportunity with each other, right? Practice mindfulness, right? Practice empathy, spatial awareness, right? You may have a good job and a lot of money, and your sister or your brother may not have such a good job and may have more money, right? And you could do and give your kids whatever type of Christmas you want to. But when we have Christmas dinner at your house, perhaps practice a little mindfulness and ask the kids to put away the majority of the gifts because you know your cousins don't have the same type of Christmas. Or even better, a practice as you're preparing for Christmas, right? You practice with your kids, hey, we get you one big gift for you, and then maybe we get a bunch of little smaller gifts so that you can, for every gift you get, you can give one to a family member or a community member that won't get a gift this Christmas, right? We could make anything into what we want it to be. It depends on the energy that we put into it. And of the show is here to talk about an event, right? For people who may not be having the best Christmas, may be living with circumstances that are outweighing the holiday spirit, right? I don't want to get into it too much. I would love for the guests to tell us about this event. But our guest here this morning, Ms. Ruth Mae Brown.
Good morning.
Is here. You have to speak right into the mic.
Okay. Good morning, Bahamas.
Is here to discuss an event that is taking place this Sunday, the 15th of December, on the island of New Providence. Now, Ms. Brown, you got to pull it right to you. Yeah, there we go. Good morning. Please introduce yourself to
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Ruth Mae Brown, and I am one of the persons who have decided that we are aware that there are many persons in our country, as Ms. Green has stated, who may not be having the best Christmas. In fact, some persons may have been having a great time all year, and then all of a sudden they got some bad news or something negative occurred to them. They may have suffered a loss of a family member. They may have just heard that they are now having to put illness, just for various reasons. And of course, there are people who have struggles financially. And so whatever the circumstances that they're going through, the thing that makes it worse is that they're feeling as if it's happening just to them. So as Ms. Green mentioned earlier, not every family would be on the same level financially or in the same socioeconomic status. And so as a result, they feel as if everybody else around them is succeeding, everybody else is doing well, but maybe they are not. And so the thing that we are hoping to do is sort of bring those persons together and let them know that whatever the struggle is that they're going through, even rearing children or just not even having children at all, whatever it is they're going through, there are many persons who are like them, who are going through similar things. And the thing is, they do not have to go through that alone. And so our seminar, like Ms. Green stated, is scheduled for this coming Sunday, the 15th of December, and it's going to be under the theme, You Are Not Alone. You are not alone, and we want persons to know that. So they can come out, and our goal essentially is to foster a sense of community among those individuals who may be feeling unloved or feel as if they are alone. And I know Christmas is the worst time to feel that way, but that there are persons who, need to come out and
Need community most at Christmas, right?
Absolutely.
And then, there are people who need community most who, like, we don't understand the barriers, right? Because we say, well, look, things happening everywhere. Public things. You don't need an invitation to go to. Why you don't just pick yourself up and go somewhere, right? Sometimes it's not as easy as that or as simple as that. For instance, there are going to be people during this holiday season who have committed themselves to a dry or sober life, right? Whether it's because of addiction or conviction. There are people who want to socialize. They want to be a part of the things, but they have some strict hard and fast rules. And for people with addiction, it's not just, well, nobody's going to force you to drink. It's that the atmosphere pushes against, right? Pushes up on that addiction and says, somebody drinking, it ain't hard.
Absolutely.
And so those people feel alone in the sense that, where do I go for a fun, dry, sober holiday? How do I do that and be amongst people and not feel like I'm bringing other people down? Because we love to do this thing. Oh, you want to drink? Oh, why you ain't drinking? What happened? Right? And so there are lots of reasons why people will feel alone. And in many instances, people are amongst people.
That's it.
And they feel alone.
That's it. That's it. See, persons get depressed even without realizing that they're depressed. People would be trying to sleep and all of a sudden they can't. Their sleep patterns have altered a bit, or they fall asleep but they can't stay asleep, and they're not connecting the dots and realizing that it's because of an internal struggle that they're having with what's happening externally, that it's now causing a disturbance in their lives. And as you said, they can be among people, and people wouldn't even be aware that they are going through their struggle, which makes them feel as if they're the only person carrying this weight.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's get into the event. Sunday, the 15th of December,
Yes.
2 p.m. to 5 p.m.
2 p.m. to 5 p.m.
Where's the venue?
The venue is in Adelaide. It's at the place called Village 1831, and that is just opposite Adelaide Primary School. So the anticipation is that persons, if they decide that they're going to church that day, that they come straight down from church, they drive down there, and of course what we're going to be offering is as well, so we're going to have what I call a Sunday lunch, so it's not just going to be like
Not like
snacks.
hors d'oeuvres and snacks.
No, we're going to have food. So that's one of the things that we're going to do the intro, welcome and whatnot. We'll kick in with the food and move straight into our panelists.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's get to the event is called You Are Not Alone.
You are not alone.
Sunday, the 15th,
Yes.
2 to 5 p.m.,
Yes.
Adelaide Village at Village 1831.
Yes.
Opposite Adelaide Primary School.
Correct.
Go online and search it.
Yes.
You'll find a map,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay. And you're going to have panelists.
Yes.
And so you, Ms. Ruth Mae Brown, you're the host and founder of
Yes.
the organization.
Yes.
And the other speakers.
Yes, our speakers are going to include Dr. Alec, and he is someone who suffered the loss of his spouse. And so he is going to be addressing persons who, of course, suffered a loss, but in particular, he lost his spouse and ended up having to raise, well, he was doing it all along anyway, but this time he had to do it without his wife, 3 daughters. And so any parent who would have suffered a loss of their spouse and then, their position has changed where they have to raise children, or even children who have lost a parent, they too will come. Sorry.
Right? No. Because
Okay.
I'm thinking, right? Like, not just that you've lost a spouse, right?
Yes.
but you've lost a partner. So,
Yeah,
so you've lost
exactly.
the love.
The love.
You've lost the partner. I mean, say
That's-
partner in crime, right? Or raising
that-
these children.
That support. That's right.
And now, like it, and you've also, there's a grief there for yourself, right?
That's right.
Because your wife may have said to you, baby, I know I won't be here long. I want you to love again.
Right.
I want you to live again.
Right.
You know, but once that spouse is pan, raising girls, you say, I'm not sure if I'm ready to bring another person into my children's life,
That's right.
And so you have to limit that part of your adult self for the other part of your adult self. And that can make people feel alone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so how do we support parents of, widowed parents
Mm-hmm.
who still have to maintain a healthy and safe environment for their kids, right?
right.
And then so you say, okay, but I still want to model healthy relationships for my daughters. I still want them to see that love is possible, but I'm grieving.
Yes.
So my kids are like, Daddy, but you ain't going out for Valentine's Day. You ain't going out. And then how do you say to your kids, look here, I'm grieving. I need you to know that you are enough. You are enough. I'm not grieving you, but I'm not ready to date again. I'm not ready to be in love again. And there are people who feel like that with just non-marital relationships too when they break up.
Absolutely. Because our doctor, that panelist, in sense remarried, but he is willing to come and share with persons who are going through. And that's the thing with our panelists, that at some point they would have gone through something, or they may still be dealing with it, but they want to encourage other persons who are going through it or who may unfortunately go through it in the future, because that's the thing about giving the information to persons so that they could be aware of how to better manage any situation like theirs. And so, of course, he's going to be talking about that. And as you indicated, it is challenging to, especially as a parent, you have to manage your stress without passing that on to your children.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so how do you be fully authentic with your kids? Because trust me, children know when you are being dishonest with them and with yourself.
They know.
Right? And so how do you do that? You be open and vulnerable with them, because that's a need for their development, right? But then you also have to still be that parent.
Yes.
In which, in some instances,
Don't
you
support.
can't show the vulnerability, right?
Right.
So when your daughter makes a decision that you disagree with, but it's her decision to make, how do you hold your sort of grief for the loss of your choice, but still fully embrace her and support her choice, right? It's like being a parent alone in and of itself.
It's challenging.
Right, it's
Exactly.
challenging.
Exactly.
And now,
Okay. So Dr. Alec is going to come and he's going to elaborate and guide persons through how he, managed through that. Another panelist for us is going to be Miss DeAndre Miller, and she is a focus on persons who may be like in their 40s. They may not yet be married or may not have children yet, and so we don't want persons to go and adjust to make any quick decisions on their lives just because they're thinking that they're getting older. And so she's going to speak to those persons so they don't panic. They don't just
Yes.
make irresponsible decisions.
because look at me turning
Yeah.
48, I may have to go get married. I need to, who will lift the tree off the front door in the
Exactly.
hurricane, right?
Right,
But
right.
the fear of being alone.
Yes.
The fear of growing old alone.
Right.
Right? The fear that I too old to be in love, right? Like nobody will want to be with me because I too
And-
set in my ways.
That isn't always true.
There's somebody out there looking.
Absolutely.
Listen, there's a miserable person out there looking for their match, buddy, and you hiding yourself, right?
Exactly.
Because you've been taught to be ashamed
Right.
of who you are. But that's not what it is. What it is you must know to acknowledge who you are, and then you work on it once you know who you are.
Absolutely. And the thing is, too, going out to events, even if there's a Christmas party or, any type of event, some of those single ladies or gentlemen may feel out of place because everybody else is coming with their partner.
Yeah.
Okay? And so, you learn that like you indicated, how to manage that, how to realize that even though you may attend events alone, you don't have to feel ashamed, and you don't have to just go and make any irresponsible decision to partner up with somebody who may not be better suited for you. So not to sort of push you into a corner, but to sort of guide persons through that. And so she's going to speak on that. And our other speaker, Miss Sheena Johnson, she's going to speak as well with regards to that. But her thing is get married at a mature age with children. And those children obviously were not for the person who
Right,
she
her
married.
new husband, yeah.
And so persons don't need to feel discouraged that, they're older, they're out of the game, they have children. Now, who are they going to bring into these children's lives? Who would be a responsible person? She's going to address that, as well as how she manages work, because she herself is an entrepreneur. So she's going to speak to persons and let them know, listen, don't stop where you are currently. Always look towards the future with optimism and resilience. You'll make it through.
But listen, I just want you all to know, if you're considering dating Miss Leela Green, right? That's my mummy.
Okay.
She's a widow well as of 30 years.
Absolutely.
I want to say, look, you just know that I need to talk to your mummy.
Okay.
I need a letter from your mummy.
Okay.
I need a little provenance, right?
Right.
But I ain't mad because,
Okay.
right, like, why would you be mad?
Exactly.
What you mean, mommy have somebody to take her to Bamboo Shack and sit in the car with her and eat
Hello.
fries, and she love to eat the fries right when she get it,
Hello.
and I won't go home, and she got somebody who like to do that?
Absolutely.
I happy for her.
Persons in their 70s, 80s are realizing, I'm hoping more of them do as well, that just because they may have suffered the loss of their life, that life doesn't have to stop there for them. And they don't need to feel bad. They don't need to feel ashamed of realizing that they don't have to be to themselves. They don't have to be alone.
Right, and I know a lot of older people would be thinking, I can't live in sin though. I can't live in sin. But listen, just have separate beds. I heard that it's not actually sinful if you all have separate beds that you go to at the end of the night, right? But
Yes.
the companionship,
The companionship.
the company, right? The psychological wellness that brings. But more than that, I think it's important, the moderation, right? Like, there's somebody there to bounce things off of.
Absolutely.
Is somebody there to say, no, man, you're being a little ridiculous.
Guide them.
7 collect in one night?
Yes.
No, man, there's 2 collect, right?
Right.
But, not in a policing way, right?
Right.
Because the presence of another person causes
Helps.
inherent moderation of
Yes.
behavior.
Yes. And even awareness of things that they may be doing and, may not be aware how frequently they're doing it. So somebody bringing that to their attention, and then may sit down and then think to themselves, oh, wait, you have a point.
Yeah.
You have a point.
Now, I see 2 names here that I am excited about. The first is Miss Deandra Miller.
Yes.
Youth developer.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
She's the lady who I spoke
Right,
about,
right.
who's going to talk about, being in your 40s and still being single and without
But
children yet.
she's a youth developer.
She is a youth developer.
Will she also be speaking to the audience about engaging young people with these issues?
Absolutely, because some of our youth groups, and the thing is, it was surprising to me,
Yeah.
but simply because I wasn't in that field, but they are concerned for the youth of our nation who need proper guidance on a regular basis.
Let me tell you something. Post Dorian, and then through the pandemic, and now post pandemic, the one key element that's been missing from society are the social scientists, the psychologists, right, and the psychiatrists. Now, I know that the professionals are here and they're doing their work,
Right.
but I'm talking about a public awareness and engagement campaign, in particular for young people, so that they can have access to psychosocial and psychological services. See, here's the thing. We think that young people ain't got nothing to worry about.
man.
Because I paying the bills.
Oh man, exactly.
I's the one the bill collectors call.
Exactly.
But not only are young people humans going through human development, but because they're going through a biological development, they're going through hormonal changes.
That's right.
And so it's important for them to have guidance so they could know the difference between what is a natural hormonal
Yes.
urge or like reflex
Yes.
and what is behavior that perhaps should be moderated.
Absolutely.
So like, yes, for instance, here's a big thing. I've realized that we don't take women's menstrual health seriously enough. And sometimes when we see a woman raging out, it is because of an underlying medical or biological health issue,
That's going
a
on.
hormonal imbalance, untreated, that renders a person unable to manage themselves, their response level. And I realize, right, that we say, oh, the raging woman, the angry woman, but a lot of young women have never been guided properly through this part of their development. And so they are left alone to figure out what's
Figure it out.
happening, right? And so I can say to women right now, you may notice that you become more agitated and
Easily.
easy to temper
That's
as your cycle approaches, right? And so it's important to be aware of that.
Aware, that's right.
So when you feel your energy ratcheting up, you could say, oh, you know what? I need to keep the cap on this one, because if this explodes, I may not be able to control myself. So what am I going to do? And for some people, it could be, I'm going to go to the bar. I'm going to get me 2 Radler. I'm going to go home. I stay in my house and let the TV watch me until,
Get over that
I get
period.
over that. I want to go to this text just quickly.
Sure.
It says, drinking is solely the individual's decision to partake or not. It is, but sometimes the pressure be tall. Texter. I drank, it was 16 years to 33 years. 2 years, I haven't had a drink. Listen, way to go.
Wow.
You're working hard at it,
Awesome.
and that's a great deal. There's no care or desire for it since I abused it so much. When in that social atmosphere, I order a coconut water or fruit punch and have just as much fun as those that are intoxicated.
Testify.
Partying without liquor is an adventure and makes you special. It's a me thing. Sexter, I with you. Now, I do drink, but I have a rule. I don't drink and drive.
Good.
If I am driving myself,
Good.
I'm not going to drink.
Right.
Right? I wait till I get home. It's a practice. You're right. For some of us, it is a practice. Some of us can move through and pass addiction, and deal with it. And so I say, good job for those who can do that. But for some people, it's just too difficult. Yeah. There's not only the person, like there's the addiction in the body, but there's also the memories and the family, I would say, entanglements, right? So it's not just that I am addicted to alcohol, but I know that I became addicted to alcohol because it was normalized for me through watching my family members drink. And so now when I go to family events, I don't drink. I refuse to. But when I go somewhere else or at my house, but when my children are drink, we got some more text. The text says, hey, great conversation. A lot of men can't cope with menopausal women and abandon ship. Recently divorced and loving my new life. Don't need a man right now. When I party now, I happily attend alone. In this time of my life, now is the time to recharge, and at my age, finding a guy is like finding a needle in a haystack. Right? There's a lot there. Yeah, a lot of men can't cope with menopausal women. A lot of menopausal women can't cope with themselves.
I was going to speak to that.
Yes, ma'am, yes.
Right, because with regards to the young ladies who are going through their cycles, and they are not connecting that what they're experiencing internally or biologically is what is manifesting externally.
Yes.
They may not connect that. However, at the same time, they may have a mother who may be going through menopause. So now you have a home with 2 females who are sort of going at it, and they're thinking that, oh, that's just their household, not aware that both of them are going through
Hormonal imbalances
absolutely.
that are driving reflexive behavior.
Right. So that, as well as the men who may not really fully understand or appreciate what the women are going through, but as you indicated, it needs to start with the ladies who may not recognize
Right.
that they are going through something. They know how they feel and they want to express it. And sometimes it can be explosive.
Yeah.
You see? So, yeah.
And if you're on the memes now, if you're on the TikToks now, you see all of these TikToks with men who are like it's like a Friday the 13th when they know the cycle starts. Is red alert in the house, but it's bubble baths. The husbands tell the children, listen, we on duty now. Leave your mother alone. Give her her time.
Exactly.
Give her her space. We got this.
Exactly.
We gonna handle the house. She's just call or text and send her orders, and you slip it under the door, right? That people are, and it's the beauty of it, right? People are sharing their lived experiences on social media,
Right.
and it's a space
And-
we could glean and learn from.
Absolutely, because that is what lets persons know that they are not the only ones going through this. So, and the thing is, too, if people are going through whatever challenges, even, menopause, and they're thinking, well, that's just how they feel. And then when they speak to another lady who's like, yes, I experienced the same thing. And so that whole thing, that support, that community would allow them to be more comfortable in sharing whatever they're going through, as well as learning from other persons how to manage it. So all in line with what our theme is, to try to bring awareness, to bring community, and of course to help people manage.
Now, also this, the part of the text says, now, before I go on to this part of the
Yeah,
text, we
okay.
also have one last panelist that we're going to
Well,
get to.
well, two more.
Two
I
more
want to-
panelists?
Yeah. But,
Okay.
Yeah,
But
but go ahead.
the texter said, at my age, finding a guy is like finding a needle in a haystack. What the boy from Roots say? It could be 80 million people on Bay Street for Junkanoo. I guarantee you, at least 50% of them could be mine.
Hello.
So, ma'am, first of all, I don't know what you're talking about, right? I don't even like them and I can find them. The second thing is this, though, right? Like, especially as we mature, it's important to understand that you got to take people where they are, right? See, we in the Western world, we've been convinced that you see someone, the stars align, the angels send the memo down with Cupid, and y'all are in love forever. Forgetting that people change over time. Which is why when we look at the eastern side of the world and we see things like arranged marriages, right? They begin to make sense because you have to commit not just to loving your partner, but to learning your partner
That's right.
constantly,
That's
right? And so sometimes people feel alone in their own marriages
Yes.
because there's been a disconnect and we forgot that our partners will change. And the journey, right, is about
Yes.
loving them. So,
Yes.
so I want to say, first of all, finding a love when you 40 is different from finding a love when you 20.
Yeah.
When you 20, you don't know nothing about the world and you don't know nothing about yourself. When you 40, though, you know plenty about the world and hopefully you know plenty about yourself. And sometimes that becomes a barrier, right, to finding someone. You're also going to change. You forget that half of your day is spent learning the new you that you woke up with, right? And so, especially when we go back to the part with the menopause part, because it feels, sometimes for men, it feels like they woke up next to a totally different woman,
Stranger.
right? And so it can feel like you're alone when you are older looking for love. But I say you got to practice grace and empathy. I put it like this. When they say, oh, I like living alone, I don't want nobody in my house, just remember the same way you like to pump in the freeness of your home is the same way that the other person want to be able to do the same thing, you know?
And exactly. That is, one of the persons we're going to have coming to
Yeah.
speak with regards to that topic is going to be Miss Sheena Johnson, because she is going to be talking about how her experience was being more mature, having children who were even, a little bit older and still finding love.
Yeah.
And I'm saying she's, with her husband and she's always happy, always, calling him her baby because she had come to that understanding that she is not looking for the persons that she was looking for when she was younger.
Yeah.
So her life was different and so she required different and she met somebody who understood that and they decided that they were going to be right for each other and married. And so it is still possible. And I think sometimes too people feel as if, As the person who sent the text said, that it's like looking for a needle in a haystack. First of all, don't feel bad by that, because you don't want to just grab anyone, who may not be better suited for you. So you are going to have to, or would be happier with that person, that right person who is right for you, who is better for you. So don't feel bad about not being with just anyone, whoever you want to be in your life that would make you happier. Secondly, with over 7 billion people in the world, okay, let's not limit ourselves.
I don't like most of y'all. That means, I don't expect, and for goodness sake, I only expect maybe 3 more people on the planet to like me.
Oh my God.
I'll be happy with that, right?
Okay.
So it's about it's about expectations as well. And I think also for a lot of people, they put at the center of relationship sexual intimacy. And if that's not set, if that doesn't feel right, or if it doesn't exist, then this can't be a relationship. I think it's important for older people to know, especially so they could model to younger people, that you will find great value in platonic relationships.
Absolutely. As long as, that is what they want and that's okay with them, I would even recommend, of course, that's where every relationship starts out, because you want to build a relationship, connect with the person before you just, decide, well, you're going to be intimate with people. Has their own way to make themselves happy. And I think that once they have that good foundation, and they're sure that this person's going to make them happy or make them feel comfortable, make them feel safe, then that, of course, is somebody who would be better for them in the long run.
Absolutely. And that you said, I want to go to this text quickly. And I know we have another panelist to talk about.
Yes.
Text says, "Good morning, Miss Green. I haven't drank alcohol from 1979.
Wow.
I haven't had a drop from 1979, but I'm always the fun of the party. So drinking,"
There you go.
and I think the texter wants other people to hear from a lived experience,
There you
right?
go.
Drinking is a habit, not a must-have. I just want to make the point, alcohol is actually very bad for the body as well, okay? And it's extremely dangerous or detrimental for developing brains, young people. I want to stick this, and it's something that you said as well, which drew me to the text. Sometimes people think you can't have fun without alcohol or an intoxicant, right? I'm a part of an improv comedy troupe, and we'll be performing December 19th at the Black Box at the Dundas, right? Open mic. Navarro Newton is going to be our featured guest. Comedy is like a perpetual energy machine. Like when you have wit, and you enjoy people, and even when you don't enjoy people, you commit to having a good time.
Right.
Humor is a perpetual energy machine.
Awesome thing.
And you'll be surprised that you can join without alcohol. Anyway, I want to remind you all to come out to the Dundas Black Box December 19th for our second open mic, this one featuring Navarro Newton, R&B artist. We're also going to have some documentary footage from what happened in the house the other day. My reporters have been waking, and we will have eyewitness reenactments from what happened in the house, but not from the politicians because they was busy trying to not get hit. But y'all got to come to the Dundas December 19th. I heard that Adrian White's singlet could be there, the one that wasn't at the house. When they stretch up my good MP. Okay, let's get back to the conversation. Ma'am, that was just a little commercial break.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. I can go ahead and speak about it.
Sorry, I was reading the text. I
Okay,
just want to
sorry.
say to this text,
Yes,
the texter,
yes,
thank
go
you for
ahead.
telling me I couldn't read that text out loud. They just tell me, one of my listeners, don't tell them I'm looking for a partner because they'll be upset.
Okay.
But see, that's another space as well, right? Like when we talk about supporting people who feel, there are going to be some instances where people are dealing with unrequited love. You are in love with someone who is not in love with you.
That is hard.
Right? And you're going to feel alone, and you're going to feel like the people who are there, they're not what you want. Right? And so, how do we support people through that process and show them you are enough as you are? whether that person wants you or not.
The thing is, for those type of persons, they tend to hurt alone because some of them are not prepared to let the world know that they are in love with somebody who's not in love with them.
Mm-hmm.
That's a hard pill to swallow, really.
You could be like Ronnie Butler. You guys sing a song about it.
Right.
There you go, huh?
Yes, yes.
Producer, I know you could take us to the break or to the end with that. You let me know when we need to take a break. Well, there we go. We're going to take a break. And when we come back from the break, we're going to talk about the last and perhaps, for me, the most exciting panelist, right? Like, I want to know what this individual is bringing to the conversation. So we're going to go to a break. And listen, if you're dealing with that unrequited love, look here, go find one Bahamian music YouTube channel and listen to these boys because they got the songs to heal your heart. You are tuned in to Guardian Radio AM with C.A. Newry. We're going to a break and we'll be right back.
I'll make every day seem like Christmas. Every time.
For fast, reliable, and impactful printing services, look no further. Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life. We stand by our quality products that is second to none. Our affordable pricing and friendly, efficient staff makes Printmasters the ultimate choice for all your printing needs. We can deliver any type of printing services, from banners to booklets to business cards. You name it, we can print it.
Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
Hello?
Linda, this is me.
Oh.
Listen, I think that this Christmas, you should really get in the spirit of things. I mean, apart from the great prices, I think your customers would like to see more of you. So I think that you should greet your customers, some in the morning, some in the afternoon. I don't expect you to be there all day. Now listen. Now, you know red is the color of Christmas. So I think that you should be in a red tuxedo. You would be saying something. Your customers would really feel like Santa Claus reach.
You can wear that red suit this Christmas. Sale ends December 21st.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
The Grand Bahama News is available every Tuesday in the Nassau Guardian. You can buy your local paper at Freeport Convenience Stores, Western Bakery, De Gregory's Fine Foods, and Bellevue Gifts. Now is the time to reach your Grand Bahama market with affordable packages, including print and digital. Call GB News Sales Representative Kavandre at 822-6717 or message him on WhatsApp for ad rates. Classified ads are now available every Tuesday as well. Keep up with everything Grand Bahamian every Tuesday in the Nassau Guardian.
1 in every 4 Bahamians face some level of food. AML Foods remains committed to helping. And this year, through our Feed 5,000 program, we'll donate $30,000 to provide holiday meals to families in need. But we need your help. From November 4th to December 18th, show your support and donate at the register at Solomon's, Costrite, Fresh Market, Exuma Markets, or Domino's Pizza in Nassau, Grand Bahama, or Exuma. Together, let's put an end to hunger.
For Christmas, that's what Bahamians do. We rushing for Christmas. Come and join our young and new. Come back Sunday morning, no time.
Producer KB, just write that song, eh? You sure? Because it sounds like KB write that song because of what's in the headlines. Hey, it's a good song. I like it. I love it. Anyway, for those who thought that they were going to be alone on a Boxing Day morning, Junkanoo is back on. This headline says, after government U-turn. I almost didn't want to read that headline. I read the one from The Guardian. Junkanoo to proceed. I like that headline better. But a lot of people's Christmas would have been a whole lot different if things had gone differently. And conversations like these are here to help people who are dealing with grief, who are dealing with loss, and it's not necessarily grief and loss of a loved one. It's grief or loss of access to a space. Like I used to be a part of this community, and I don't know what happened. I don't know, but now the people don't talk to me. I can't go there no more and hang out. Like these things impact people greatly. More panelists before we sort of just read off the headlines for the day. I can be honest with you. I knew it was going to be a full conversation, but I didn't know it was going to be this full, and so I'm grateful for it. Absolutely grateful for it. Okay, so the next panelist.
Yep, one of the persons who's going
right into the mic. Yeah.
One of the persons who's going to be joining us is Mr. Alson Edgecombe, and he is going to be talking as a young man who was separated from his daughter and how that led him into depression, and eventually how he was able to get the support from persons to encourage him through it, and he came out. And now he has multiple businesses, and he wants to give back, and so he asked if he can come and address our attendees to help them.
Listen, there's something that we don't ever talk about, right?
Yes.
From the man's perspective.
Yes.
From the women's perspective, we talk about the breakup and oh, he don't want to pay this and he don't want to pay that. But from the man's perspective, right? They also experience loss. They've lost the household and the daily experience of waking up with their children, the children run into bed and jump on daddy, right? Of having to run in the bedroom and say, I'm trying to wake you all up, children, all us could get in trouble.
That's right.
Let's go. Those things are important for men, for fathers, right? And so to have that kind of ripped away from them.
Absolutely.
And they're like, listen, woman, me and you don't have to be on good terms, but that should not disrupt my relationship with my children. And what it is for men to not be able to see their children every day. Pick them up every day, tickle them every day, cut their eye at them every day, right? And say to them with your peanut head, and then every day realize, because I got a peanut head too, right? The joys of fatherhood, and we don't talk about them feeling. Because when we say, oh, well, then you ain't got no responsibility, you ain't got to plait hair, you ain't got to do this.
Right.
But that's not true.
No. And the thing is, what people don't realize is simple as coming home from a hard day of work and you opening the door, and who's greeting you? Your child, who, has no care in the world. But when they see you, they just have that happiness and they run up to their parents and want a hug from them.
That is another perpetual energy machine.
It is.
And it's. You get it from your children. Now, sometimes you've been blessed and you get it from stepchildren and other children as well. But nothing replaces the child that you brought into the world, that when you look up at the window, they could be there shouting daddy. That mommy is get a little jealous. Because it's the only child who have daddy.
Exactly.
And the grief that some men may feel when losing that.
Yes.
And grandparents as well.
Listen, especially grandparents, because they have their household and they're raising their children. And so every Christmas morning, they're excited because their house is filled with energy. They have children who are opening gifts. As those children age and they move out and get children of their own, then that celebration is taken to another home. So there they are now in their empty homes without that Christmas morning excitement. And so it hit home to them as well.
So maybe a new Christmas tradition is sleepover at Grammy or Grammy sleepover at us.
Yeah, but persons are not aware that maybe those are the changes that, would help the Grammy. Through,
especially if it's only Grammy and it's not Grammy and Grampy.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So they feel alone. They feel left out, and it's not intentional. It's not intentional. It's not as if they're not loved, but it's just that persons, sort of overlooked them and what they may be going through.
Absolutely.
So it's important.
All right, now our last speaker.
Absolutely, we can go into our last speaker, who is a Grammy, right?
Yes. Hold on. Who is our Grammy, our collective, a Grammy of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Absolutely. In the person of Dr. Ruby Ann Darling, our Deputy Governor General, who has agreed that this seminar is so important that she would come and share.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. As you said, our nation's Grammy, right? Her and, of course, our Governor General, Dame Cynthia Mother Pratt.
Mother Pratt, right?
Absolutely,
Yes.
who is awesome as well. But, we do have, as I indicated, Dr. Darling, who's going to be joining us because she, thinks that this is so important and she wants to be able to come and share.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's going to be talking about a lifetime in the Bahamas as the Bahamas itself has changed. So she can speak to being young, speaking to her experience in politics, if it comes to that, because persons are going to be allowed to ask questions. Okay. And of course, she would share, her energy on not giving up, going through everything, all of life's challenges with children, with parents, having a spouse, and in the capacity that she is now in, and managing her way through all of that and still being able to smile, still being able to give back to our nation.
Absolutely.
Appreciating her a lot for that.
Absolutely. And I say thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Dr. Ruby-Ann Darling, our
right.
Deputy Governor General. So again, the event is called You Are Not Alone, Sunday the 15th of December, 2024, from 2 to 5 p.m., Village 1831, Adelaide Village, opposite the Adelaide Primary School. Contact information, 466-8920, 477-4494, and 424-4329. Now, yes, ma'am.
I was going to say it is a ticketed event, food as well. It's going to include food. The tickets are only $35, and it's, like I said, it's going to include food and prizes. And our grand prize is going to be the Dudley Johnson cruise around the harbor.
Why you didn't tell me that?
I should have mentioned
Dudley
it.
Johnson cruise around the
Nassau
harbor.
That's right, our grand prize. And so for $35 with the meal, the content that we're getting, additional prizes, as well as our grand prize, persons would benefit a lot if they come out. I would say
Absolutely.
that. Yes.
Thank you very, very much. Now, I didn't think the conversation was going to be this exciting, or more importantly, this important, right? And I think it's a very important conversation. So I'm going to use this last 1 minute and 15 seconds. I got a cousin named, now his name is Sir Jerry DeVoe. Bahamian Sir Jerry DeVoe was knighted by His Majesty King Charles III at Windsor Castle on the 10th of December 2024 for outstanding services to humanity and to entertainment. Now, here are the headlines I had to sort of attach to the show. The first one is a tragic headline. Police are investigating a fatal traffic accident that occurred on the 9th of December, resulting in the death of a female driver at the junction of Cowpen Road and Faith Avenue. We say condolences to the family members. Rise in contraband, 8 inmate admissions and misconduct at Fox Hill Prison. The reference would be that all prisoners also, right, feel alone, and they have family members that feel alone. Yes. Sounds alarm on missing electronic presence. That was when we was talking about people wanting things. One thing that ain't gonna never change in this life is people wanting things. It's natural. And so, let us remember that. Practice empathy and mindfulness. We're all out of time. Thank you, producer, for finding that Junkanoo music, even though it ain't Junkanoo music. I love it. You guys have a great weekend. Stay warm, stay safe, take care of each other. Thank you, Ms. Brown.
Thank you.
Let's go. Roots in the morning, Valley out here too. Saxons and one family, yeah, they coming too. Big horns are blasting, most can keep in pace. Line of cowbells ringing and bottoms spanking bass. No feeling like it, I know that you want some. But if you want to hear it, yeah, you got to come down to the Bahamas around Christmas time. Just park your bikes and gal, bring your wine.